Hello, denizens. If you saw my recent X posts, you will have read that I got a double dose of some of the worst entertainment imaginable. One was the last episode of Season 2 of Pacemaker with a Tron Aries kick to the gonads. I'm kind of shell-shocked, really. I don't know how anyone could make such bad entertainment. Even in the days of schlocky sword and sandal movies and simple TV westerns, at the least the writers gave us a story with identifiable, unambiguous good and bad guys. I don't know what this nonsense is. I might do a video on the final Pacemaker, but for now, you denizens will get the benefit of my brilliant review of Tron Aries. Now, as is my tradition, I'll provide a meandering intro where I dredge up my past experiences to give context to where I'm coming from. I won't apologize for the ravings of an old man saying, "I remember when." Well, I remember when Tron was about video games, but Tron came out in 1982, and I have to rewind farther back to Ryerson Polytechnical Institute in Toronto, where I took radio television arts, which was near Yonge Street, the main drag, where there were several pinball arcades close to the strip clubs. Between 1973 and 76, when I went to Ryerson, I lost many quarters. I mean in the arcades. There was Pong, of course. There was Breakout, Seawolf, and Tank. Later, we got Space Invaders, Asteroids, and Galaxian, amongst other classics. We marveled in the early 80s when Omnibus Animation showed a video of shaded balls and cubes and cones bouncing around that took maybe months to process. In that environment, Tron was a staggering achievement. Let's not forget that when the Macintosh was first introduced and the word hello animated on the screen on stage, and then it spoke, it said hello, and that got a standing ovation. I can say without hyperbole that it was a joyous time. Now, Tron was not the video game in Tron. Kevin Flynn's game was stolen by Encom, the company he used to work for. When he tried to hack in to get it back, Ed Dillinger, who used Flynn's stolen game to rise up through the company, digitized Flynn into the Master Control program to, I guess, kill him. Flynn had to defeat several games to advance. Tron was a program created by Alan Bradley, one of the Encom engineers. His purpose to monitor communications and protect the system. Basically, a digital security program embodied by Bruce Boxleitner. It's late in the day. I mean, it's all silly nonsense, but it wasn't difficult to suspend our disbelief. Tron Aries is the opposite, and in a bad way. The log line is simple for Aries. What would happen if the game penetrated the real world? A simple and intriguing idea that, any junior Hollywood executive would get. The problem with Aries, among many things, is that it wasn't presented as a game in the real world. It was just bits and bytes plucked out of Master Control program. And for all the lasers and special effects, there was no explanation as to how these clumps of ones and zeros attained physical attributes and weren't just holograms. Look, it doesn't take much to make the unbelievable believable in silly movies like Tron, but you have to try. And Aries didn't try at all. That could just be a me problem. Couldn't someone have opined? You see, General, atoms are 99.99% empty space because the nucleus is tiny compared to the orbit of the electrons. So, technically, if atoms were only empty space, your hand could pass right through a chair. But that doesn't happen. Electrons carry negative electric charge. Like charges repel each other. Negative repels negative. When your hand gets close to a chair, the electron clouds of your hand's atoms repel the electrons in the chair's atoms. This electrostatic repulsion is what prevents your hand from falling through the chair. And with our zoopty chumba chumba quantum laser thingy, we have found a way to give these bits and bytes you see before you the same properties. That then gives the bad guy, Julian Dillinger, an explanation as to why his constructs only last 29 minutes in the real world, i.e., they lose their electrostatic repulsion. Now, apart from the arbitrary 29-minute lifespan, I've created something you can at least hang your bullshit on. This is also very gear porn, which producers of modern movies seem so damned afraid of. No, can't have Iron Man take the time to put his metal bodysuit on anymore. Just assemble it in seconds with nanoparticles. These are fantasy worlds. You have to set up rules that will let the audience believe in the world you've created. There's no shame in taking time to set this up. This is my long-winded way of saying I didn't for 1 second believe the world the creators of this movie presented to me. But then again, I'm not your typical audience. Ask my wife. I won't go through a scene-by-scene breakdown. Others will do a much better job of it than me, but I will tell you that the characters are characterless. I'm not blaming the actors. It's the writing. Apart from the master control program entering our realm, I'm not sure the writers knew what else to do with that, and they called Jared Leto's character Master Control, which was completely confusing. I don't know why NPCs like Aries had to look like Jared Leto. If bad guy Julian Dillinger was a debauched gamer, why not use the RPG interface and craft Aries? And he could even be given, or applied a personality, stoic. And then Leto could have had some fun at the very least, because he was, in the movie, was lost between playing an NPC with no personality and one who suddenly attained feelings when encountering rain. Anyway, and the same thing would go for Jodie Turner-Smith's Athena. Then at least that would explain why you had a bald black woman NPC. You have to make sense of things that make no sense. I should add that in Tron Legacy, if you recall, Quora is able to enter our world. Quora's digital form is materialized for the first time, essentially printed into reality using Kevin's quantum-level reconstruction tech. The tech isn't explained in detail because it's meant to feel like a spiritual moment, not just a sci-fi gimmick. In Tron Aries, they call it the permanence code, which I couldn't get past because it sounded dumb. And hadn't Kevin solved the problem with the other thing? Did Quora disintegrate in 29 minutes? We don't know. Neither Sam nor Quora are in this movie. Anyway, I'm sure I'm just confusing you more, so I'll stop now. I think I've given you a notion of my prejudices when it comes to this kind of fare. All I'll say is if your brain works in a similar fashion to mine, you will hate this movie. Don't go. For all others out there, you're on your own. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.